Made you reconsider your passion for Brexit? Do you think now, blimey, shouldn't have done it?
No, not at all.
Why?
Brexit provides a huge opportunity for the UK, both in terms of global trade, but also in terms of entrepreneurialism and the possibility for better regulation.
So how does Brexit fix it for 3,500 workers and all the other businesses around the Swindon area? And we're just talking about one plant here, but all the other ones around the Swindon area that now are in crisis and very, very worried this morning for good reason.
Well, it's very sad for Swindon. Of course, Swindon has nothing to do with Brexit whatsoever. If Honda...
OK, well...
Just let me answer the question. Okay. If Honda had actually decided that it was Brexit that was the problem, they would have relocated their plant to a country within the EU. And they haven't done that. And they're also closing
said that they were concerned about the future relationship Britain
they're
was
also
going to have with the
closing
EU,
their plant in Turkey, and Turkey is within the customs union. So Turkey has access to the European market, this so-called access. They're closing that plant as well. Just like the X-Trail in relation to Nissan, all of this is to do with global restructuring of the auto industry because some of these companies have made bad decisions. Investing in diesel engines, for example. Diesel we now know is a big problem. And Honda itself is not performing very well as a company. So
you can't blame Brexit, but how does Brexit help it? If we're going into a Brexit future and we are losing investment of this scale, what can we get instead? Well,
we're bound to have this sort of thing happen all the time. We've had it throughout history that companies decide to come and go. And actually relying on multinationals to provide inward investment is a big mistake. What we need to do is boost the economy, the entrepreneurial part of the economy, which is the real creator of jobs and progress and innovation.
How do we do that?
Well, if we leave in March 2029, we will have a situation where the £39 billion that we would otherwise give to the European Union can be invested in boosting the UK economy. We can remove external tariffs, which the EU currently make us apply. That's taxes on stuff coming in. So we can reduce the cost of living for people, particularly on food and consumer goods. That will give people more disposable income, which will further boost the economy. And because the currency is at a competitive value, UK manufacturing industry, for the first time in years, is competitive around the world and can actually sell more goods, which will rebalance the economy towards the regions.
And there's a solution.
Well, this is all theory, but we're not seeing that at all because there's a complete collapse.
Well, what about it as a theory? What is wrong with that as a theory?
Well, if we have had a devaluation 2 years ago, it was followed the referendum. It was the biggest devaluation since the Second World War. And, you know, devaluation up to a point does help your export industries, particularly tourism. But it also squeezes people's living standards, and that's what we've been seeing, so people spend less. But the key point about Brexit, which we haven't left yet, but we've already seen, is a complete collapse of business investment. You know, it's in the motor industry, it's about a quarter of the trend of the last few years.
And just setting Brexit aside, and then we're going to move on to what happened to Labour yesterday, but very briefly, and I'm not sure how one fixes this, but there does seem to be an element of folly, doesn't there, in having basically just one major industry providing most of the employment in a region. It's because when it goes turtle, and there's nothing to take its place. How do we deal with that?
Well, how we deal with it, as I say, is to actually stimulate the entrepreneurial part of the economy. Nearly 80% of all businesses in the UK are actually family businesses that are owned by the people who run them. They're the ones that the government should concentrate on, and they've actually put far too much effort into inward investment of large multinationals. It's easy for them to do, selling off the family silver. It's a lazy way of approaching what government do in industrial policy.
Now, Vince, already we